Men's and women's soccer are back at Highmark. Cross-country runners placed big in their recent meet. Football is starting hot, while the baseball season winds down. It's time to come on down to Pioneer Sideline. Good evening and welcome to Pioneer Sideline. I'm your host, Bryn Reese. To kick things off, let's recap how this weekend went for Point Park Soccer. The men's soccer team was on the road this Saturday, traveling to Maryland to take on the Frostburg State Bobcats. The Pioneers earned their first win in the Mountain East Conference with a final score of 3-1. The Pioneers scored all three of their goals in the second half after attempting only one shot on target in the first period. Point Park goalie David Ali had huge success on defense. In 90 full minutes, he racked up 5 saves, 3 in the first half and 2 in the second. Frostburg State scored 1 goal in the 79th minute, a little too late for a comeback. In total, the Bobcats had 19 shot attempts and 6 shots on goal. The Pioneers had only 6 shot attempts, 5 of which were on target. On Monday, the MEC named midfielder Niels Benning as co-offensive player of the week for men's soccer. This is Point Park's first weekly honor for soccer since transitioning to Division II athletics. Benning recorded 1 goal, 1 assist, and 3 shots on target against the Bobcats. He shares this honor with Frostburg State's Hugo Portillo. Congrats, Niels. The Pioneers are now 2-2 overall and have a 1-2 conference record, tying them for 5th place in the MEC. Point Park goes on to face conference opponent Wheeling University tonight on home turf. The Pioneers are looking for their second straight MEC victory. Good luck, boys. Switching gears to Point Park women's soccer team, the Lady Pioneers traveled to Wheeling University this Sunday to face the Cardinals in their first conference matchup. The Pioneers suffered a 2-0 loss after an explosive offensive performance from the Cardinals. Wheeling combined for 10 shots on goal out of 16 total attempts. Point Park goalie Maggie Pappas recorded 8 saves in 90 minutes, preventing a major blowout by the Cardinals. On the other side of the field, the Pioneers really struggled to gain momentum on offense. They had only 1 shot on target from sophomore Jamie Spurrell in the second half. This matchup put the Pioneers at 2 losses and 1 tie overall. They are 0-1 in the MEC. The women's team is on the road again tonight to take on the Frostburg State Bobcats. The Pioneers have their home opener this Saturday as Point Park celebrates homecoming weekend. The men's and women's team will host their first doubleheader of the season against West Liberty University, an MEC opponent based out of West Virginia. In celebration of homecoming, Point Park will hold a tailgate at Highmark Stadium. There will be food trucks, games, music, student tabling, and more. Point Park students receive free admission to all home games when they bring a valid school ID. Join us this Saturday, and good luck, Pioneers. When we come back, find out how the cross-country teams fared this weekend at RMU. And later, we have a recap of the rest of the sports world. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Now I'll be running things over to Brady McGough to discuss how the cross-country teams performed at the Robert Morris Invitational. Brady?
Thanks, Bryn. Both the men's and women's cross-country teams raced at the RMU Invitational last Saturday, September 14th. The men ran an 8,000-meter race and finished in 6th place out of 10 teams. Luke McKenna came in 14th place and broke a school record running a 25:47. In 44th place, Elijah James ran a 26:49, and in 51st place, Yannick Windelbond ran a 26:57. The women's squad also came in 6th place in their 5,000-meter race. The best runner for the women was Cassandra O'Connor, who came in 13th place and ran an 18:29. This time ranks top 5 in 5K times in program history. Jana Schmid ran a 19:14 and came in 32nd place. In more recent news, Luke McKenna and Cassandra O'Connor were both awarded the Mountain East Conference Runners of the Week. Congratulations to the teams and these two runners, and good luck next meet. Both teams' next meet is at the Lock Haven Cross Country Invitational on Saturday, September 28th. Men will start at 10 and women will start at 11. Next, I will be serving things over to Edmi Adalis to break down the Point Park Volleyball's recent performance in the Vulcan Invitational. Edmi?
Thanks, Brady. This past Friday and Saturday, the Point Park volleyball team played at the Vulcan Invitational Tournament in California, Pennsylvania. They played against Frostburg State, California University, and Bloomsburg. The Pioneers lost their first 2 matchups and won their final game. The Pioneers lead the Vulcan Invitational Tournament with overall record of 1-7. On Friday, the Pioneers lost against Frostburg State, winning 2 of the 5 sets. The first set was a win for Point Park at 25-21. The Pioneers then lost 2 straight sets at 25-23 and 25-20. The fourth set was a win for Point Park, but the Bobcats took the 5th and final set with a score of 15-9. Later that day, Point Park suffered another loss against California University, winning 1 of 4 sets. The Pioneers took control in the first set with a score of 25-19. The remaining 3 sets went to the Vulcans, giving Point Park their second loss of the day. The last match of the Invitational was on Saturday against Bloomsburg. Point Park won all 3 sets and earned their first win of the season. Game leaders for the weekend include Eden McElhaney, Rochelle Tassari, Julia Follador, Haley Stormer, Mia Arndt, and Patricia Calero Iritza. McElhaney has been a real standout this year, being a game leader for 6 out of the 8 games this season. Over the course of the tournament, McElhaney, a senior outside and opposite hitter for Point Park, led kills in the match against Frostburg, as well as digs and service aces against Bloomsburg. Tassadi has been another key player this season, with 5 matches as a game leader. Throughout the tournament, Tassadi, a senior outside hitter for Point Park, led digs against Frostburg, and she led kills, blocks, and service aces against California. Point Park travels to Pitt Johnstown on Tuesday, September 24th to take on the Mountain Cats. Good luck, Pioneers! Now, back to the Bryn.
Thanks, Brady and Edmi, for the Point Park update. When we come back, find out what all is happening locally. Stay tuned. Take them cue and open their mics.
They marked the 1-year anniversary of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette strike.
Point Park University just hosted a campus-wide meeting.
Plans for the rapid transit bus line are not set to conclude until 2025.
Welcome back. Now, Ryan Quinn is next with this week's Pittsburgh Sports Update. What do you have for us, Ryan?
Thanks, Bryn. The Pitt Panthers took on the West Virginia Mountaineers in the backyard brawl, with Pitt coming out with a 38-34 victory. Quarterback Eli Holstein completed 21 of his 30 pass attempts for 301 yards while throwing 3 touchdowns. Running back Desmond Reed receiving 2 touchdowns and wide receiver Dejon Reynolds catching a 40-yard touchdown. Kyle Lewis getting the game-sealing interception to complete the comeback. Pitt looks to improve to 4-0 next week once they take on Youngstown State next weekend. The Pirates wrapped up series against the Marlins and the Royals, sweeping the Marlins, making it a season sweep against them after sweeping them the first 4 games of the season. Paul Skeens strikes out 9 batters in the first game of that series. The Pirates then dropped 2 of 3 to the Royals, with the lone win coming in the finale game by a score of 4-3. The Pirates sit at 71-78 on the season. The Steelers started their season with wins over both the Falcons and the Broncos. Steelers defense shines in both games while only allowing 16 points combined, having a combined 4 picks and 4 sacks. Kicker Chris Boswell scoring all 18 points against the Falcons while being 3 of 3 for 50-plus and 2 for 2 between 40 and 49 yards. Justin Fields completed 13 of his 20 pass attempts, throwing 1 touchdown to tight end Darnell Washington to start the scoring. Edge rushers TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith would each get a sack against the Broncos, allowing them only to get 6 points. The Steelers looking to improve to 2-0 and looking for another win with their home opener against the Chargers, who will also sit at 2-0. That is all for me regionally. Now we send things over to Gabe Ebersole for an update on the NFL season. Gabe?
Thanks, Ryan. The theme of the NFL's second week was upsets, as 7 matchups were won by the underdog. Alvin Kamara made a lot of fantasy owners happy this week. His 180 scrimmage yards and 4 touchdowns, leaving Cowboys fans wondering if it really is their year after the home opener. Saints QB Derek Carr is the league's premier passer through 2 weeks, leading the league in touchdowns, QBR, and passer rating, while the Saints are sitting at 2-0. NFL fans have been completely blindsided by the fiery Minnesota Vikings, much like how the 49ers were blindsided by Sam Darnold throwing a rocket from his own end zone to Justin Jefferson for a 97-yard touchdown early in the contest. Despite losing the 10th overall pick J.J. McCarthy to a season-ending meniscus injury before the year, Minnesota sits alone atop the NFC North 2 weeks in after the emphatic home opening win. Going up against a regular season juggernaut in Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, the Raiders scored 20 points on their last 4 drives in the come-from-behind victory. All-Pro Max Crosby was able to get Jackson on the ground for 2 sacks on the game, but it's the improved passing game under veteran Gardner Minshew that's most surprising. Both Devontae Adams and rookie tight end Brock Bowers logged 9 receptions for 110 and 98 yards respectively in a 26-23 win. The newest chapter of the Chiefs-Bengals saga is in the books, ending with a 51-yard game-winning field goal by Harrison Butker, set up by a pass interference on Cincinnati. The Bengals were still able to pick off Mahomes twice on the day, but a fumble, the Chiefs returned for a touchdown to take the lead in the 4th, and a flag sent them home with loss, now down 0-2 on the season. On Monday Night Football, the game slipped through the Eagles' fingertips, specifically Saquon Barkley, who dropped a 3rd down pass that would have allowed the Eagles to knee the clock out and win. Instead, they kicked the field goal to go up 6 points with 1.5 minutes to go, allowing primetime football legend Kirk Cousins to drive the Falcons down the field in 50 seconds with no timeouts. On the dagger, Kirk located Drake London on a beautiful out route that had Darius Slay looking blindfolded in coverage. After Jalen Hurts threw an arm punt to Jesse Bates, one kneel sealed the improbable Falcons win 22-21. That is it for NFL Week 2. The AFC East will be back on Thursday night to start off Week 3 for the matchup of Jets versus Patriots. But what happened with Tyreek Hill in Week 1? Ronan Lancaster is here to talk about coverage. Ronan?
Thanks, Gabe. Week 1 of the NFL season kicked off last weekend, and it brought us a ton of action. However, Miami Dolphins star wide receiver Tyreek Hill didn't have the best start as he was detained before the game. Hill was pulled over by the Miami-Dade Police Department for a traffic violation. Hill was asked to roll his window down, and he did not roll it down all the way, leading to an altercation. When they got him out of the car, he was put in handcuffs. Teammates Calais Campbell and Jonnu Smith saw the situation happening as they were heading to the game. Campbell was put in handcuffs briefly, even though he was standing off to the side for Tyreek Hill. Tyreek later admitted that he could have complied with the officers better, but called for the dismissal of Officer Danny Torres. The police department has started an internal investigation per NBC. Tyreek will likely not face further orders and ended up playing in the game that same day, scoring a touchdown paired with 100-plus yards. Now, Peyton Celeste will report on what has happened with Tennessee's ticket pricing. Peyton.
Thanks, Ronan. Universities across the country continue to navigate their ever-changing athletic budgets as athletes are making millions from NIL deals and bidding wars through the constant cycle of the transfer portal. Now that Power 5 schools will soon be allowed to pay up to $22 million of their annual revenue to athletes directly, the University of Tennessee became the first school to make a decision that will help create financial flexibility in the future. Tennessee sent out an email on Tuesday to season ticket holders, informing them that a 10% talent fee will be added to all sporting event tickets starting in 2025, as well as an additional increase of 4.5% on average for football tickets. In order to address possible complaints from fans, the email included a video from Athletic Director Danny White explaining that the increase is in order to continue winning, saying, quote, "We want to be a leader in college sports. That means we want to be a leader in revenue sharing," end quote. With Tennessee leading the charge, there is a strong possibility that increases like this will be announced with other universities in the coming weeks and months. With players getting paid more, the pressure from the fans who are paying much more will increase. And tickets won't be cheap, especially for football. Currently, the cheapest season ticket for Volunteers football in 2025 is $453, according to ESPN. And student tickets have already doubled from $10 to $20 per game for the current season, and it'll cost $25 in 2025. Along with more scholarships being added to all sports, ESPN reports that schools who intend to participate in revenue sharing will need around $30 million to cover the cost of money going to athletes. This number may continue to increase over the years as players get more and more money, which means fans may be regrettably reaching deeper and deeper in their pockets to see their favorite teams. That's all from me and the rest of us. Back to you, Bryn.
Thanks, everyone. When we come back, we discuss the standard of the Steelers and head coach Mike Tomlin for our case of the week. Don't go anywhere.
It's a tough crowd.
Welcome back. The Steelers season is starting off solid, but around the football scene, there have been consistent questions surrounding the standard of the Steelers. With no playoff wins in 7 years, is longtime head coach Mike Tomlin the issue? I'm joined by Ryan Thiele, Alex, and Ryan Jones to discuss this matter. All right, so to start this off, how are you all feeling about this? I kind of want to go around and get all your takes. We'll start with Ryan.
So I'm an irrational Pittsburgh guy. I think Mike Tomlin should be gone. He should have been gone at the start of Ben's last year, after Ben's last year, because that was the perfect time for the Steelers to say, okay, we're going to clean house. We're going to fix everything that we need to do. It's just too late now. He's signed another 2-year contract on, again, it's been that 7-year, long year wait for us to win a single playoff game. Any other coach not named Mike Tomlin that would have been gone after 3 years of no playoff win. I just think it's time for the Steelers just to clean house. And I get it, we're 2-0. We're looking great right now. We're a small portion of football. But after this season should be the year for us to clean house and let us rebuild the way it should have been done from the get-go since Ben's last year.
All right. Now, Alex, how are you feeling?
Well, I can disagree with your opinion in my case. Steelers football is Steelers football. Without Mike Tomlin, there's no Steelers football. Steelers football is very original. I mean, you watch the Kansas City Chiefs. They score touchdowns. They score a lot of touchdowns. But you watch the Steelers. Now, the Steelers are exciting. Now, you look at the Broncos game. You look at the Falcons game. They were both very, very close games, but they were exciting. That was the good part about them. I mean, if you look at Mike Tomlin working with Omar Khan and now Arthur Smith, I mean, you're looking at three really great men who have been working on this new football team that they have basically regenerated. I mean, 11 seasons, Mike Tomlin has gone to the playoffs. One time to the big game. One time won the big game. In 16 seasons with a winning record. I mean, what's so bad about Mike Tomlin?
But do you count a 98 season a winning season?
Yes.
It's just a one-win difference. For being honest, if it's a Steeler football, we're a championship caliber franchise. Always have been, always will be. Going 9-8 in a one playoff game is not a winning season in Steeler football. You're mentioning Steeler football is winning. Not just go 9-8 and just being happy we made the playoffs.
Then what you call last season?
Last season was a losing season. We played.
But we still made the playoffs.
It doesn't matter. We should be winning championships, or at least getting to the AFC Championship.
No, I gotta agree with him here. Alex, sorry, but I believe you're wrong. Okay, Tomlin's gotta go. I mean, we're tired of getting a winning season. Okay, yeah, we're 500. It's fine. We have a winning season. Whoop-de-doo. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we have a winning season or not. Do we want to be contenders? Yes, that's the end of the day. I watched this team, the O-line, everything. You watch the offensive part of that team, we're dry. It's completely dry, and we just focus on that defensive team. That's all we are. We are a defensive team, and I feel like we have to wipe it clean, just like Ryan said, and the first thing to do is get rid of Tomlin. And if we want to be anywhere towards that big game, we got to get rid of the coach first. I don't care that we fix the team. I don't care that Fields comes in and he's 2-0. That does not matter. The point is get rid of the coach, clean sweep, and just start it over again. We're tired of this winning season. If we want to be contenders, we got to start clean.
So Mike Tomlin, being a defensive coach that he is, I know that because I've watched him play. I've been basically living with the Steelers, throughout my entire life, watching them play, Mike Tomlin's a defensive coach. You added Arthur Smith as offensive coordinator, who is a very powerful run offensive base. You combine the two, both who Arthur Smith was a head coach, you combine the two, and I think that Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith make a great combination. I don't think we give Mike Tomlin the boot here.
But wait, let's talk about it. So this NFL now, is NFL more of a passing game now or a running game? It's more of a passing game. It's time for us to get with the NFL and evolve into a spread style offense. One where we put George on the left side, Calvin Austin in the slot, and let Calvin take up the middle of the field and let George Pickens cap off, not run up the middle three out of the 4 plays of the year. I'm tired of us playing this pro style football. It's not working anymore in the NFL. We need more of a pass happy, spread out offense. I'm tired of these old minds inside of the Steelers franchise. It's time for the Steelers franchise to get younger and be okay with the young guns going out. I mean, we can even go with our college team right now. Look at Pitt. They got younger, and there's a drastic difference from last year to this year. It's just the way football in the whole is right now. We got to get younger inside the coaching staff for the Steelers team, and it starts with Mike.
Okay, I'm going to butt in. Do you guys fully think that this is a Tomlin issue, or do you think with this being Arthur Smith's first year, do you think it's a Smith issue? Do you think all this lies in Tomlin?
I don't think it's an issue at all. I think we should test this out. Steelers, in my opinion, is a testing football franchise, right? Last year, we tested that with 3 different quarterbacks, and we still made the playoffs. 2 of them which being injured. We still made the playoffs. We still made a winning record. Mike Tomlin is not the problem. Neither is Arthur Smith. I think Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin should give a chance. We should give a chance to these 2 people. I mean, they're people just like us. We're giving each other a chance, right?
So you're right. We are a team that likes to test things out. I mean, we hired Mike Tomlin as someone who wasn't nowhere near a coordinator job except being on special teams, being with the DBs where he was for Tampa. But we can't test anymore. We put ourselves into a win-now situation when we didn't need to. Our last win-now situation is when we had the triple Bs. Since then, we should have just stopped and rebuilt from there on. Now we handcuffed ourselves because we decided to get a has-been quarterback in Russell Wilson, a kid who doesn't trust his receivers down the field in Justin Fields. So we have 2 quarterbacks who don't trust their O-line, trust the receivers. Now, when last year, this draft, we should have made a play, traded one of our star players away, and get a rookie quarterback like either a Bo Nix or one of these guys who came out and just start the rebuild the right way. So that all lays on to Mike Tomlin because Mike Tomlin's the head coach. That's his decision with Omar Khan. So this all lays down to Mike Tomlin's shoulders because he didn't do it the right way from the get-go, and now he's trying to play catch-up. And luckily, we played Denver and Atlanta as our first 2 weeks. But once we get later in that season, when we play that gauntlet, where we play divisional rivals back-to-back, we play Kansas City, then we play the Eagles. We're going to see what Mike Tomlin has done to us and handcuffed us from the get-go.
Exactly. I mean, we're in a pickle right now. This is absolutely insane. I mean, we're looking 2-0. I mean, whoop-de-doo, 2-0, that's nothing. I mean, you have teams who are going 0-2. I mean, you have the Ravens. You expected the Ravens to come out hot. They didn't.
Whoa. With the Ravens, we beat them twice with the same team that I was talking about that made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, but we're first-round exits.
So?
What does that do us? That does us nothing. Do we really want to be contenders, or do we want to sit in the first round and be like, hey, we made the playoffs,
yeah, but we have a whole different
out?
team this year.
Doesn't matter.
It's a whole different team.
It's the Steeler way. Like you said, it's the Steeler way. We are going to be a first-round exit again, and then everyone's going to be like, oh, big whoopie-doo, we got a winning season. That's not a winning season.
That's not how we want to play. And I mean, it's all on Tomlin here because Tomlin's first decision, you see teams like the Chiefs. I mean, how have the Chiefs been doing? It's been absolutely unbelievable. And they've been playing, their play is in the air. It's throwing the ball, it's getting it down here. I mean, you see any other team who's running the ball, just like the Steelers are running it up the slot. I mean, you just can't play like that.
Well, that's all we have time for this week. Be sure to join us next week at the same Pioneer time, the same Pioneer channel, and the same Pioneer Sideline.